Kadyn Proctor is on his way back home to Iowa. Regardless if we believe, Joe, it's a good fit or not a good fit, he's going back home. Good for the kid. Can we talk about the elephant in the room, pun intended?
Yeah, go ahead.
Kadyn Proctor was on an interview with some TV station in Iowa, probably the only TV station in Iowa, and basically, I'm just going to say what it is, that Iowa was tampering with him in the middle of the season.
I really don't think that I think that, yes, by definition of the rules, yes, communicating with a player on another roster is tampering, but the kid's from Iowa. He was committed to Iowa for a very long time, and he developed close relationships with members of this coaching staff. Kid was struggling early. They didn't reach out to him and say, hey, man, if you got sick of being there, come on over from Alabama, come on over to Iowa. That was not what was happening. They just reached out to him, gave him some words of encouragement. That was it. And now that he entered the portal, it occurs to him, I should probably go where they support me. They supported me this whole time. That was why I was committed to them originally. That was why I didn't consider any other school. And the only reason why I picked Alabama in the first place was probably maybe wanted to play for Saban. He wanted a chance at a national title. Got his taste of it. Now he's going to go back home. I don't think that this is going to negatively impact him at all. And sure, if you want to call it tampering, go for it. But like, how does this hurt the college football world? It doesn't.
Okay,
well, then don't tell me be encouraging to him.
Okay, well then don't tell me anything about NIL in the portal ever again. Don't. Because let me tell you what it shows. Can I tell you what it shows? That coaches, administrators, presidents, Congress, all of them say that how much they hate the portal in NIL. Do they not?
Yeah.
You know what I call? I smell a big old case of bullshit. They love this because they're able to improve their roster. Joe, it's never more important to finish second in a kid's recruiting cycle than ever before. Joe, they knew exactly when they sent the text to him and saying, hey, man, we know you're struggling in the SEC. We know that Alabama fans are telling you that you need to quit football and that you suck. That's plain in the sea that you're welcome home here. You can't be a coach and go out there and say, hey, man, Alabama people hate you. You know where people don't hate you? Iowa.
Well, part of the irony, and I'm not saying your statement is ironic, but the irony of the situation is that Iowa fans were not exactly thrilled that he changed his mind last second. They were not very receptive to it. So it's not like he's going back to a fan base that was very pleasant to him. I don't think the fans really play into this at all. You know, I just don't. This shouldn't fit in the definition of tampering. Like, just forget the word for a second. Is it such a malicious act to let an 18-year-old know that he's gonna, things are gonna work out? Like, is that so wrong to do? Because clearly,
it's
Alabama
not.
was doing it.
And I know that that's not what really is why they're having the conversation, though, Joe. Let's cut the BS. If you're telling the kid,
you don't need to assume everything's negative.
Joe, if you're at work and I work for another company and I keep texting you and we're just friends and I just keep telling you, hey, man, I hear at your current company they're always talking shit about you and they hate you and everybody around there hates you. You all, if you want to make the move, you always have a place here. Joe, regardless of how you view it, okay, I'm sorry to tell you, buddy, that's what we call a good old-fashioned tampering. Well, I understand where you're coming from. Okay. You're trying to take the human side of it. And that's why I'm just going to be real with you. And you're probably, people are going to probably laugh at us. It's why I love you as a human being, because you're always looking at the human element of things. But, Joe, you really think that they're reaching out to him because they like the kid?
Okay, I'm sure that there obviously was some hope that he would change his mind and want to come back to Iowa. But he was committed to Iowa for a very long time. He's from the state. He is the biggest recruit to come out of the state in a very long time.
Maybe ever.
He probably spent so much time around that program in that facility in that coaching staff.
I understand that.
Probably spend more time in grand total than he did at the University of Alabama with that coaching staff.
All right. Well, just getting the elephant out of the room, the pun intended. You apparently you like the move of him going back to Iowa.
I would have hoped to have seen him at a more impactful program that is in the contention for a national title.
I agree.
But I don't think it hurts his development. And I think that he's going to a school that's going to make him, physically tough as shit, and he's going to be a good athlete.
I think here's how I view it, Joe. Just even as a former offensive lineman, yeah, you've put a lot of good big time offensive linemen into the NFL. So is a shitload of other places that can be competitive and talent, and where you can showcase your talent. Joe, I mean, your team. Team.
Notre Dame doesn't need a tackle right now, so it doesn't that
Joe, would they have not taken the kid?
I don't know if they would. I literally don't know where he would play on the offensive line. They'd have to move him into guard.
Then
Charles Jagasaw was like
then let him play guard. My point is, the kid wants to go home. Good on him. Look, we all want to go home. We all have the yearning for home. I don't hate him for that. But there is things that have to be discussed in reference to business decisions. Joe, again, they are so bad on offense. They're so bad on offense, it can make really good players like him even that Joe, he might look better. He can become better, but they're so bad on offense.
Who's the wait? Who's the best rookie tight end this year?
Sam Laporta.
Where did he go to school?
Iowa. Who threw him? Why is?
Where was he drafted? He was drafted in the second round.
Why is it so shocking that Joe, as an example though? But I get
my point is that he doesn't need to be super productive and in a good offense for him to succeed in the NFL.
I'm not saying that.
He's not a receiver or a quarterback.
I'm not saying that. Business decision can be NIL. It can be higher in the draft. Why does Sam Laporta fall to the second round?
He wouldn't have been a first rounder anyways. Tight ends don't get valued that high.
Would he have gone above Kirkland that went to Buffalo, or wasn't it Kirkland?
Kincaid.
Buffalo?
Kincaid. No, he wouldn't have. He was never in that conversation.
Joe, you mean to tell me if that kid were in an offense like LSU, Alabama, Georgia, wherever, that kid wouldn't have worked himself into a first-round pick? I mean, I'm old enough to remember the kid from Oregon State, Musgrove, whatever his name, from Oregon State, went to the Packers. Okay, and look at how they looked offensively.
Michael Mayer was more productive than he was and went after him. BetOnline remains your top spot for all of your live betting action and contests. NFL, college football, UFC, NHL are all in full swing. BetOnline is your number one source for wagering news, odds, trends, and predictions with both desktop and mobile access at any time. Head to BetOnline today and use promo code BELIEVE, that's BLEAV, for 50% off your first deposit. That is a 50% welcome bonus. BetOnline, where the game starts.